Is Biden too old to be our president?
Most Americans believe that President Biden is too old to be president. The poll looked at 80-year-old President Biden versus 77-year-old Donald Trump. 77% of adults say Biden is too old to be president. 51% of adults say Trump is too old. And if you look at the breakdown by party, Republicans generally don't think of Trump's age as an issue, but both Democrats and Republicans agree Biden is too old. So here's the question. Is the White House worried that questions about President Biden's stamina could ultimately impact whether or not voters will be able to support him for a second term?
So I'm going to be careful about 2024. I can't speak to that directly, but
you can talk about the perception of the public with the president's stamina and his age.
I'm happy to talk about that. I get asked that question a lot. Here's the thing. You know, what this president brings to this administration is wisdom and experience. And that is just true as senator, as vice president, and now as president. And we just talked about, we had and I appreciate the conversation that we had on Medicare, the first 10 tranche of prescription drugs that we just introduced because of the Inflation Reduction Act. And that is the thing that the president is able to do is deliver, really move forward historic pieces of legislation, change the lives of Americans for generations to come. And that is what we focus on, the president's record and what he's been able to do.
This is what I don't like about politics, because we tend to focus on everything but why. The people, the American people, are asking or opposing that Biden is too old for he's too old for the presidency. Why?
He finished handing out diplomas. A group of men, including an official with the Air Force Academy and 2 Secret Service agents, helped get the president back on his feet. He then walked back to his seat.
Could it be that he's having a hard time riding a bike? Could it be that he's tripping everywhere?
Come after the president about his age. They did it in 2019, they did it in 2020 leading into the general election, and they did it in 2022. And guess what? He beats them every time because he has his finger on the pulse on what it is that the American people need. He talks about issues that really matter to the American people, and he is delivering. Is there more work to be done? There's always more work to be done.
So if we're addressing this and we're taking this to the front, we can all agree that he has had a hard time, and he's continuously having a hard time running this country. And we're posing these questions because America needs a strong leader at this time, okay? I would say that if America wasn't faced with the problems that we're having now in terms of when Corona took place, and then the meddling with Ukraine and their war, and Russia and their war, I don't think, and then China and its problem, I don't think that Biden will be such a bad president. I think he will be classified as an okay president. But in this time, the season that we're in, it demands a leader. It demands one who's in charge. It demands a general. It demands one who can command an army. And we're not seeing that. So that is why we're asking about his age. That is why these questions are coming up, because there is a missing gap. There is a something that is missed. There's something missing in the equation. And we want our questions answered. And we answer them by going to the polls. We answer them by voting. So as much as you're comparing Biden to Trump, yes, they're only about three years.
More than three quarters of Americans think Biden, who is 80, is too old to serve another term. 77% of them. Donald Trump is just 3 years younger than Biden, but only 51% of Americans say he is too old to be effective in a second term.
You would not classify Trump as a grandpa sitting in a rocking chair, just gazing out in the beautiful whatever. No, You would consider him as someone who's active. He maybe gardens or like we see he plays golf. You know, he's very active and does all of this. So yes, we make that comparison because that's the two that we have. And we want a leader that is driven to put a stop to what is happening in our finances, to put a stop to what is happening, the war that is happening, to put a stop and put America back on the pedestal that it belongs on. Because America is a great nation. God bless America. It is a great nation. And for everyone or anyone who fails to see that, I'm sorry. I'm sorry you don't see it the way we see it. I'm sorry you're only looking at it from one lens, but I want you, or I dare you, to look at the whole piece. Look at the entire piece of what has happened to America in the last 10, 15, 20 years and see how America has just lost its place. It's time for America to get back in place. Hey, if you like these videos, if you like what I'm sharing with you here, I want you to like, I want you to comment, and I want you to subscribe. Go ahead and share this. Thank you.